radio, glowing magic transistor radio, glowing magic transistor.
Hello YouTube and YouTubettes. Welcome to another album review. Today I'm going to review the Half-Handed Cloud album, Halos and Lassos. This was released in 2006 on Asthmatic, Kitty Records, and New Jerusalem Music -ASCAP. I'm not sure what that is. Mastered by Rafter Roberts, recorded and mixed by Brandon Buckner. I don't have a producer name, and this was recorded at Ears of Corn Studio in Iowa City, Iowa. This is the fourth album by Half-Handed Cloud, led by John Ringhofer, I think I pronounced that right, who has worked with Sufjan Stevens and Daniel Smith of the Danielson family, uses the omnichord and Q chord on almost every track. I'm not sure what those are, but they sound cool. And all songs are written and arranged by John Ringhofer. Something he has in common with the ones I've listed that he worked with, Sufjan and Daniel Smith, is that they are some prominent Christian artists that are very creative. So the music doesn't sound like gospel music or anything, but it just sounds like really interesting kinds of music. And I think I discovered them at Good Records or some, just browsing at the display. And I can't tell you for sure, but I think that's where I first discovered them. And I thought, this is really cool. This is unique. I didn't even know that they were Christian at the time. Now, I'm not totally sure if they're Christian or Jewish because some of the lyrics are more Old Testament. So I don't know for sure, but religious, I'll just say that. The album cover are drawings by John Ringhofer of children with halos in front of what looks like a school. Very nice colors and interesting artwork. I really do like this one. There's a difference between like a great album cover and just great artwork. This is an interesting artwork, a little kind of messy to be a 10, but I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Now on to the songs. Track number 1 is called Earth Outside of Ghost Will Only Be Quicksand. And this one has, most of these songs have sort of this, the Q chord and whatever that other instrument is. That sounds like an 80s video game or something. And so it kind of has that typical sound throughout the album on the verse. But then in the chorus, it has some guitar that's pretty interesting. And so I really enjoy this sound. And I give it artistically a 10. And poetic lyrics and things lower on the catchiness side. And perhaps one of the things that hurts the scoring on these songs is that they're so short. So I probably penalize them a little bit for that. The scores might be lower than how much I really actually like the songs, if that makes sense. But overall, I give this song a 7.8.
The unbelievers seem to have it good, and I envy their arrogance when I saw their prosperity. They've no struggles.
Track number 2 is called Tongues Will Possess the Earth Instead. I have no idea what that means. Maybe it's talking about the Tower of Babel, I don't know. But an interesting song with a 80s style video game sound. But it's got some really interesting chord changes that is reminiscent of the Danielson family. Just another song this one's even shorter than the first. But another song that did higher on the artistic side and lower on the catchiness side, and I give this song a 7.6.
Some will trust in a chariot, some will trust in a horse, but we trust in the name of the Lord, our God will carry us.
Track number 3 is called Foot on the Brake, and this one is one of my favorite songs. It's a little catchier, it's got a nice hook and lyrics that are famous. It's obviously talking about I believe the Egyptian chariots. There's other Christian songs about the same thing, but I really enjoy it. It's a little bit catchier and swingy, but then it has this symphonic section that, with the slide guitar kind of sound. Just a really good song. And I give, even though it's short, I probably would have a higher score even still, but as is, I give it an 8.6. Track number 4 is called A Suit of Clouds to Ride the Skies. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, this one has a nice sound. It's pretty simple, I think, but it's still very creative, and it's very swingy and well arranged. I like kind of I don't know what you call it, but it's like a bubbling sound that pops in. And it reminds me, that bubbling sound reminds me of something like by Stereolab. So quite interesting. But overall, I give this song an 8.0.
Praise awaits you up on Mount Zion. To you who hears prayers, all men will come.
Track number 5 is A Praise That Waits You. And this one is, it starts out a bit more guitar centric, just the vocal and guitar, and yet still sounds interesting. I didn't mention this before, but he has a very interesting voice, and sometimes in indie music, the vocals are not always, something that would win on American Idol or anything, but because they're unique, that's what makes them interesting. And so I do enjoy his vocal style. And it's got this basic melody line, but the instruments underneath continues to change, so there's always surprises in there, so it keeps you, it stays interesting. And overall, I give this one an 8.2.
The oceans are filled up with wine for all we have.
Track number 6 is called Rise to the Heavens on Evaporation. Don't know what that means. Again, I guess evaporation is water, but this has a very interesting sound. I love all the keyboard sounds that are in this, and a nice synth drum beat going on, and what sounds like an accordion. But it really does keep me interested throughout, and this does really well. I give it an 8.6.
Eyes pour forth speech always, your voice in the airwaves.
Track number 7 is called A Picnic a Few Want to Attend, and this has a bit more guitar, has sort of a folky sound, but then adds some other, like an accordion and synthesized sounds as well. Very pretty song, one of the prettiest songs on the album, and just very solid. I give it high on the lyrical poetry side. That's the best thing I have on the scoring, and overall I give it an 8.0.
Show yourself, Lord, so no one can miss it.
Track number 8 is called In You Now, But Still Be Low. And this has a bit more of an electric piano kind of a sound to it, as well as that electric drum sound, which is interesting. Oftentimes I don't care for electric drum sounds, but the way they're used on this song and a previous one is actually pretty good. And this has a very happy and swingy kind of sound to it. I really do enjoy it, and overall I give this one an 8.2. Track number 9 is called Eyes Peeled, and I really enjoy this song. It kind of starts out with a bit more kind of folky with the guitar, and then breaks into this banjo kind of sound, and then out of nowhere it's just this bassoon, Once again, he's doing the same melody line as the first verse, but with completely different instrumentations. So he's always changing things up, which makes it interesting. So, this bassoon, these banjos, something, it's electric bassoon. I mean, a keyboard sound of a bassoon, I'm sure, but I could be wrong. That's what it sounds like to me. So it's very interesting. I really enjoy this song, and I give it an 8.6.
Instruct me in the way you
Track number 10 is called You Wouldn't Embarrass Me, Would You? And I really enjoy how this sound builds. It's kind of got that electric drumming once again that I think is well done. And then this bass sound. And it's just pretty much the drumming sound and a bass that's really cool. And then this accordion sound and other things that are like xylophones and things. So I really like the way it builds. Very interesting, something a little different than what he's done before, while keeping with the same style of weird indie folk music. And I give this one an 8.4. Track number 11 is called You've Been Faithful to Us Clouds. And it's got, again, that keyboard sound. He uses it in another unique way, which fits in with what he's been doing, but a little slightly different. Another synth drumming sound that works well. And because this song is actually a full-length song, it's 3.5 minutes, I'm going to give it a higher grade. Another one that's quite artistic, well arranged, that keeps it interesting throughout. A nice melody line, very happy song, and I give this one a 9.4. Track number 12 is called Skip the Rope, and this is one of the coolest sounding songs on the album. Just a beautiful sound. I love the way it's kind of got that electric drum beat again, and just this nice flowing keyboard sound, and a very pretty song. Just one of my favorites. It is a bit shorter than the last one, even though I probably like this one more, and I give this one an 8.8.
From lips of children you'll be praised. We see the heaven.
Track number 13 is called Celebrating Hearts Aligned, and it's got this electric piano kind of a sound that's really nice, really cool, that is sort of on a rhythmic, played rhythmically. And then there's some really cool backing vocals that he does interesting things with. But this is a really nice song, and very, very solid, though it's once again very short, so it doesn't do as high as I would like to give it, but I'll give it an 8.4. Track number 14 is called They're Bad, But We're Worse. And I really enjoy what he does with the instrumentations on this one. It's once again got that bubbling keyboard sound that reminds me of Stereo Lab, and then these kind of bass accordion keyboard type sounds throughout that are constantly doing weird things throughout the song. So a very, very good song, higher on the artistic side, lower on the catchiness side, like most of them. And I give this one an 8.2.
Strangers attacking, our hearts are all lacking, but God means nothing to them.
Track number 15 is called A Bed That Breathes With Him. And this has sort of a minor Jewish music sound to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's a bit more of a sad song compared to most of the songs that sound more happy. And I really do enjoy this. It's a bit of a change of pace, and I give this one an 8.4.
Feed your sheep a burning lamp, feed your lamb a course on herding. Ooh.
Track number 16 is Feed Your Sheep a Burning Lamp. And this is probably one of my favorite songs on the album. I love the wordplay on it. The poetic lyric is just great, I think. And not often do lyrics stick out to me in a certain way, but I really like the way he writes the words on this one. And just a very interesting melody line as well. And I give this one an 8.8.
He wraps up in sunshine and makes the wind.
Track number 17 is called Rainbow Equals Warbow. And other than some of the interesting instrument arrangements that are on this, it's not a song that I typically listen to or pull up or sticks out to me. I do enjoy sort of that electric piano melody that he plays and that Stereolab gargling sound, but he uses that in a few other songs as well. So again, interesting and not a bad song by any means, but a little less than most of the songs. I give this one a 7.6.
Chewing on the word of God, a tree replanted back in Eden, garden under hardened heart.
Track number 18 is called A Tree Replanted Back in Eden. Once again has sort of that 80s video game soundtrack at the beginning. But my favorite thing in this song is the interesting instrumental section in the middle of the song that's just very avant-garde, sort of these electric oboe kind of sounds and keyboards. So that's probably my favorite part of this song, and I give this one an 8.4. The last song is called Place Your Wind Against My Sails. I really love the way the keyboards play at the beginning and then suddenly stop. It's very interesting the way he does that. And also it's a bit longer than most of the songs, which helps as well with the scoring. Almost 2 minutes, which is long for this album. But the poetic lyrical play is also really cool. That I give a 10 on the lyrical poetry. And I give this song a 9.0. The album flow is a 10 out of 10. They all have a very distinct sound that flows together well, United production style. But as simple and short as these songs are, he always adds something interesting in the arrangements to keep you want to listen to it, in my opinion. This is an album that should be listened to from beginning to end. Any individual tracks will leave people wanting more or less. I don't know if you don't like this kind of music because they're so short. So I would suggest listening to the whole thing. But there's 2 or 3 tracks on here that are long enough to be standalone tracks. So now I will pull out my handy dandy computer and calculate my formula. And this album gets an 8.43 out of 10. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Place your wind against my sail.